Hey guys, Carnifex with another Nerd This video. For those of you guys who watch my channel, which is, I would assume, pretty much everyone who's watching, you know that pretty much all of my content, even though like I try to like have like a little fun with it, is pretty much all like, here's data, here's information, here's recommendations, like very constructive, like here's how to make your game experience like more efficient, better, etc. I don't usually jump in with like, hey, like here's like my opinion on stuff in like a non like constructive way. Like here's just me talking to talk. And in the end, I hope this video doesn't feel that way anyway, and that's part of why I preface it up front. I got 5 things that I want to talk about. The 5th one is kind of like talking about action steps in regard to the auto ticket situation. So bear with me as I try to balance like feeling genuine and not like rushed, while also not trying to make this like a half-hour video like the first one almost was. First version of this almost was. I did make a video yesterday talking about the announcement in whole, but then I have also I only really talked a few minutes about the auto ticket situation, so I want to go into a little more, not so like, because I feel like I feel like I've been pretty effective in communicating my opinion on stuff, but a lot of people may not be on like the Discord all the time. They catch snippets of people here and there. They're kind of wondering, how do people who have spent money on the game feel? Are people talking about this to the devs that are in like the tester and like game changer community? And then there's just points. I feel like all 4 of these points are like leading up to what our action steps are pretty well defendable. And, you know, there might be one for, you know, a different one for everyone that they're like, I don't get the point of this, I don't get the relevance, or I fully disagree, and that's fine. This is not a video that I don't make money. I've made 0 money off of YouTube ever. I've made 0 money off of Dragon Champions ever. People have offered to give me money for like doing little things I've helped them with, and I'm like, no, that's not why I'm doing this. This is like a fun hobby for me. I like helping people. I like the community. So I hope that you can like keep all that in mind as I'm saying this. I really do feel like I wanted to make a video that told people what I felt like were things to consider when they were making those action steps in response to what's going on. So first thing, and I feel like this is pretty painfully obvious to most people, which is one of the things that makes this choice a bit confusing for me, for devs that I have vast majority of the time really enjoyed my experience with, is like, don't take away a feature that's been standard for the entire lifetime of the game and then just put a paywall behind it all of a sudden. We will get into the $1, $2 like argument later, but regardless, you don't. There's kind of like the carrot and the stick for those of you who are they're economic terms. Kind of like if you have a horse and a cart, right, and you dangle like a carrot, you know, on a string in front of the horse, it'll encourage it to move forward, and that's, you know, referred to like carrots, like giving people incentive, right? Like, here's really good packs to help you move forward. Okay, that's a carrot, right? It does cost you moving forward, right? As the horse, you don't just get to chill, but you get a carrot for it potentially. The stick is the, hey, like if you don't go, you're gonna get hit. And so this is the reality of economics is you need both to survive. The only people that are being impacted by this are people who have never gone for the carrot. 0 times ever have gone for the carrot. And that is not like a criticism. That's the truth of the situation. No one, I know that there are people who are being indirectly impacted by the people who have spent nothing, like not being able to get their tickets now for raid. And I'm not saying that that's not an actual impact. I'm talking specifically the people who are no longer able to instant loot are exclusively people who have spent 0 on the game, have never gone for a carrot. This is the wrong stick. This is not the type of stick that you put in. You don't take away a feature that's been standard and then paywall it. It's not the right stick. Second point, this game requires many more missions to be run than games like Raid or Summoner's War, and is therefore not sustainable without auto tickets. I don't know what they could do to make this game live without auto tickets. So for those of you who haven't played Raid or Summoner's War, those games are a lot more built around actually like literally developing characters that let you auto things consistently. And by auto, I don't mean sim. That would be like a distinction I'm making. Auto is like, hey, I'm throwing my team in, they fight on auto. Simming in this video's context is going to be talking about pressing a button and, you know, whether it's with tickets or whatever, you get the results of simming that many missions. In those games like Raid, Summoner's War, the content that is fueled by like that energy that fills slowly over time, the consumption rate is a lot higher than in this game. It would take so much longer to consume the energy in this game. And that's why games like, you know, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, Marvel Strike Force, etc. either have auto tickets or they just have auto, period, once you 3-star it. This game cannot operate functionally like Raid or Summoner's War. It would take an obnoxious amount of time. That's not like controversial. If that's controversial, you know, I'll send you some math in the Discord. But whatever the angle, third point, whatever the angle, the decision was about money, like increasing revenue, and I don't understand how this will accomplish that goal. Even if it was effective in getting a ton of free-to-play players just to buy those $1 or $2 packs. Obviously, they have to be banking on at least some of those people kind of steamrolling and becoming bigger spenders. Here's a picture of what's happening. This is a guy in my guild who got 30,000 Dracoins. Now, this is probably one of the highest examples in the entire game. This guy is he's a big whale, and he got 30,000 Dracoins. 30,000. It's over $200 US of Dracoins. How does, if you want to increase your net revenue and then you remove a ton of income or a bunch of revenue you're about to get, that is a real risky long-term play. We're about to have artifacts released. This guy now does not need to spend money in order to get artifacts. And here's the confusing bit of it. If we had been told it was going to be a 10-to-1 conversion ratio, I had 5,000 auto tickets. I got 5,000 Dracoins. If I had never known I was initially they were considering giving me 5,000, I just got 500. Am I going to complain? Is that guy going to complain because he got 3,000 free Dracoins? No. And because of how the law of diminishing returns work, I would have basically felt as happy. I would have felt almost as happy. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a 10 specifically about the conversion rate, not about the move overall. I'm a 10. And I probably would have been like an 8 or a 9 if it had been a 10-to-1 ratio. And they would have given away only a 10th of the free Dracoins that they ended up giving away. Maybe there's some math out there that says that giving 30,000 Dracoins to a whale ends up in him spending way more than that in the semi-immediate future to compensate for the lack of money you were going to get from him, and how people sharing that data like impacts like the base growth. I don't think so, but it might be out there. Whatever the angle, the decision about money, and I don't understand how this will accomplish the goal. And the main reason is just because the conversion rate to me is just bonkers. It would be a lot of free-to-play that you would be banking on spending more than that $1 to $2 to just replace the lost money from those free Dracoins. I mean, my guild, the GNL like guild alliance of like 4 guilds, probably just got like 6,000 US dollars that Dragon Champions will not be getting now. I don't know. that was really questionable. As again, it's really nice, it's really generous. I'm not saying it's like an evil, and I don't even want to call it like a stupid move. It's just because if they're trying to raise the revenue, that's not, they're not going to accomplish that way. Fourth point, and this is probably the one that like has the potential to like frustrate the most people. Remember all the things I've said leading up to this video, and let me finish the entirety of this point before you jump and, you know, freak out or something. I don't really understand the free-to-play pride concept. Specifically, I am talking about people who say, I refuse to play like money on games. And I'm not saying there isn't an element of achievement in there. And I know a lot of people who in their games that they play and they whale on, not even like little subs and stuff, like whale on, they have a free-to-play account on purpose as an alt because there's a different kind of challenge, different kind of fun there. And I think that's worth having. That's not what I'm talking about. Free to play pride is like, you're lucky to have me playing your game, even though I never spend anything. And like the ads that I get, which by the way, if they're willing to let people get rid of ads for basically up to like, people could spend $10 hypothetically, and now there's no ads. The ads are not worth that much. They're really not. It's something. It like pays for your server space, I guess. And so in the end, this game has been pretty great. I know that we're like waiting on new content, but they were fleshing out, rosters that needed help. Like Goblins had no healer. They needed to fix that. There were initially like Demons had no leader. And had no real viability outside of like for some things like the bounty hunter missions and stuff. They needed to plug those holes, particularly before they introduced something like Battlegrounds, because otherwise you just don't have as many useful teams. My expectation is that this is a new game and it's going to take a little bit of time to get up to the content level of other games I've been playing that have been around for years. I do not think asking $1 to $2 from people for months of great gameplay is a bad deal, and I don't think it's outrageous. Again, this is the wrong stick to apply to encourage people to see that point of view. It's the wrong one. There's a reason I made that the first point. There's a reason I made this the fourth point. It's a fantastic deal. The problem is with how it's being applied. Again, many spenders have separate free-to-play alts. And this could really deter new players from staying with the game. Apparently, new players are going to get a 1-week free trial. This is like a baby alt that I've basically just used to show things from someone who hasn't spent money's perspective, and to try out some very early game stuff. Without it being on the test server. So again, this could really deter new people from staying with the game after the 1-week instant loot trial. At least it's a little more. I will say it's on a relative level, it is more fair to those people who they're kind of knowing at the front. Hey, like you're downloading the game. We're letting you know a week in. This is a limited time premium feature for you to trial. You're going to have to pay if you want to keep it. It does at least give people a week to figure out whether or not they want to stay in the game. That's at least more fair, even though in the end I do think overall it's probably more of a deterrent. And just like even from the actual gameplay perspective of it, it's just something that if people hear it, they may be less likely to even download the game. There are spenders that their guild hasn't even been affected by this, and they're like, I really disagree with this choice. I don't think this was like a good choice. So, but for the people out there who are kind of like, I'm like a proud free-to-play because it almost feels like a lot of those people are just talking about like, I extort these games. And I'm just like, they need money to keep like going. You have to like pay paychecks. You have to pay for promotion fees. You have to, I don't know. Again, that might piss off some people. And again, caveats too. This is not the way to do it. This is not the way. But everyone that this is directly now not allowing to sim has spent $0 almost certainly after playing the game for months, up to 6 to 8 months. I don't think it's crazy to need to spend that, even though again it's obviously better if that's upfront. It's the retroactive nature of this, removing a standard feature that has been around for the life of the game, that clearly makes this the wrong way to encourage people to contribute to sustaining the game. So fifth point, what do we do? I am not trying to like get like crazy political on peeps. I'm sure everyone, even if you're not a US person, knows kind of what happened with the last election. One of the things that I said to my friends on kind of both sides of the political spectrum was, regardless of how this had turned out, if this had gone the other way, like in opposition to you, and you just could not fathom how many people could have ever voted for the other person, you still needed to know. You should still want those people to vote the way that they feel they should, regardless of whether you feel like they shouldn't feel that way or not, because now you know something that was pretty essential information that you did not know. You may have potentially not voted because you thought something was in the bag, because you did not think it was possible for so many people to have felt a certain way. So right now, from the devs' perspective, clearly they did not think, in making this choice, right or wrong, right, that a bunch of people were going to leave. I'm not saying everybody should just jump ship. At a minimum, I would say for most people, this has still been a better experience. You've got to let, if for you're someone that's like, oh, no, trust permanently broken, then yeah, you should probably just leave. If there's no way to like repair trust by like them doing something to right the ship in response to this, then yeah, like leave and play another game where the devs will inevitably do that too. But if you're someone to where they can reasonably restore that trust, some kind of like apology announcement, the thing that I think is really appropriate and attainable is for them to just, hey, like, we're not even going to restore it to normal. We're going to give everyone auto loot. No one needs it now. It's not a premium feature. And maybe like all the people who have made their first purchase in the past 24 hours or whatever since the announcement, maybe like give them a couple hundred Dracoin package or something as a result. I think that's the thing that that is kind of like most reasonable going forward. And if that's like outrageous to you, like no, that's not even near close to the damage they've done, then honestly I feel that's a little dramatic, and you're probably not going to be happy playing this game more. So yeah, go ahead and install. But for all the other people that they're like, yeah, you know what, like I do enjoy this game, if they did something that I thought wasn't just restoring back to normal, but really like giving a good faith gesture, then give it some time. Give them a chance. Like if I'm thinking about metrics that they're going to be paying attention to in the near future in order to decide whether or not this has been ill received, they're going to be looking at how many day one battle passes are bought. They're going to be looking at what's their subscription renewal rate for the next few days. I would say at least give it through June 1st, maybe June 2nd, and we will find out. By then, I would think, if there's going to be a response to this. And if a few days is too long, again, then go ahead and remove yourself from the equation and, contribute to the retention number, like figure that they're going to be looking at. So do it in the end, do what you think you need to do, but do consider it. And again, just consider whether or not this is a redeemable choice, because I mean, really, any games developers are capable of making a decision like this. I don't know if there's really a game there's not a game I'm aware of that's this, kind of whale funded model that would not have the potential to make this kind of choice that makes it rough for the free to play. So I mean, in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, you basically don't get to play new content now unless you're paying money. That was one of the things that made me leave Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And so I hate to see a change that makes it feel similar for the free-to-play players of this game. So anyway, if you have other thoughts, I'm happy to hear it. This is not meant to be like a one-way window of like me talking at you and you not getting to, react yourself. You can usually find me, ping me on the Discord. You can comment here. Totally welcome that. That's what I'm asking for whenever I make a video, huh? But anyway, I hope this was helpful for people to maybe see something they didn't see, to know. And I have voiced a lot. Since the change, I have been voicing my concerns, suggesting alternatives, asking kind of what the motivation was to figure out the best way to fix things. And I feel like it's not going to happen today. I feel like there's not going to be a change today. It will be a few days, but I do want the player base to give it a real chance to not make this a lose-lose situation. That's kind of like, don't make this a lose-lose situation. And we'll see what happens. But anyway, I hope to see you guys around. Hope we get this all resolved and that things can get back on the happy ship a little later. So have a good one.